Himanshu's journey to the power of now. Himanshu had always been an anxious soul. Even as a young boy, he was often preoccupied with the past and worried about the future. His mind raced with thoughts about what could have been and what might happen, leaving him perpetually stressed and unhappy. As he grew older, these anxieties only intensified, leading to bouts of depression and a constant feeling of being overwhelmed. One rainy afternoon, as Himanshu was browsing through a quaint bookstore in search of anything that could provide him with some solace, he stumbled upon a book titled The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment, by Eckhart Tolle. Intrigued by the promise of spiritual enlightenment, he purchased the book and began reading it that very night. The Illusion of Time. From the first chapter, Himanshu was hooked. Tolle's assertion that time is an illusion resonated deeply with him. He realized how much of his life he had spent either regretting the past or fearing the future, and how little time he actually spent in the present moment. The idea that obsessing over past events or future possibilities only leads to suffering hit home. For Himanshu, the ego and the mind. As he continued reading, Himanshu learned about the ego, the false self created by the mind that thrives on identification with thoughts, emotions, and external situations. Tolle explained that the ego is responsible for a constant stream of mental noise, which keeps us from experiencing the present moment fully. Himanshu began to recognize his own ego in action and saw how it was driving much of his unhappiness. The pain body. Tolle's concept of the pain body was another revelation for Himanshu. He understood that he had been carrying an accumulation of old emotional pain, which often resurfaced and took control of his thoughts and actions. Tolle offered a way to dissolve the pain body's influence through awareness and presence. And Himanshu felt a glimmer of hope that he could finally break free from his emotional burdens. Practicing presence. Determined to make a change, Himanshu began to practice the exercises Tolle recommended for focusing on the present. He started with simple mindfulness meditation, observing his breath and feeling the inner body. Initially, his mind resisted, bombarding him with thoughts and distractions. But with persistent practice, Himanshu began to experience moments of true presence. He felt a sense of peace and clarity that had eluded him for so long. Mindfulness in everyday activities. Himanshu also integrated mindfulness into his daily activities. Whether he was walking, eating, or listening to a friend, he made a conscious effort to be fully present. He noticed how much richer and more fulfilling these experiences became when he was not lost in thought. Transcending the ego. As Himanshu continued his practice, he started to transcend his ego by disidentifying with his mind. He observed his thoughts without judgment and realized that he was not his thoughts or emotions. This recognition brought him a profound sense of freedom. Spiritual enlightenment. Connecting with his inner body helped Himanshu stay grounded in the present. He felt the aliveness within him and used this sensation as an anchor to the now. His relationships improved as well, as he learned to see others beyond the projections of his ego and communicate with honesty and presence, acceptance and surrender. One of the most challenging yet transformative lessons for Himanshu was learning to accept the present moment, no matter how difficult. Surrendering to what is did not mean passive resignation, but rather an inner acceptance that led to peace. Himanshu found that by embracing the now, he could dissolve his ego, heal past wounds, and live a life of greater awareness and fulfillment. Higher states of consciousness. Through his journey, Himanshu experienced higher states of consciousness that arose from being fully present. He felt joy, love, and deep inner peace that were not dependent on external circumstances but came from within. Conclusion. Himanshu's transformation was gradual but profound. By consistently practicing presence, he moved towards a more conscious and enlightened way of living. He discovered the peace and joy that exist in the present moment, breaking free from the tyranny of the mind. Inspired by the power of now, Himanshu dedicated his life to sharing the message of mindfulness and presence with others. He became a beacon of light for those who, like him, struggled with anxiety and depression. Through his journey, Himanshu learned that the power of now truly holds the key to liberation and enlightenment.